Great start for Courtney Blackwell in the top of the first against this very good Grand Valley State team. And we'll tell you the lineup for P&W here in a second. But first, the defense for Grand Valley State. Behind Hannah Beatis, the pitcher. It's Hollister, Thatcher, and Henning from left to right in the outfield. Kenning, Soffen, Gobble on the left side, Rieger and Holman at second and first, respectively. Beatis and Wagner, the battery mates. Here for Grand Valley State, Hannah Beatis this year, the ace of this Grand Valley State staff. In her 10 starts, has finished 8 of those games, including 3 of them with the other team not scoring. 3 shutouts for Hannah Beatis, 8-1 on her season. 65 2/3 innings pitched, 61 strikeouts, and not too many walks to speak of. Only 14 base on balls surrendered, and she's only allowed 10 earned runs in those 65 innings plus. This is a tough challenge for P&W today.
Yeah, they're going to have to find ways to get on, whether it's, as you said, the walks are going to be tough, the hits are going to be tough. Any base you can take, you got to find a way to make it happen, and small ball is going to be key today. We saw P&W try to steal a few bases the last time we were out, Sam, and get a few bunts down. Any way you can produce runs is what's going to get the job done today.
Aubrey Schroyer in her familiar leadoff spot takes one up and in. Schroyer this year, 364, 5 doubles, 3 home runs, and 9 ribbies from this leadoff position. She'll be followed by Montana Martinez and Taylor Stevens in this top of the lineup here. And ahead in the count, 2-0. Tristan Wilcox, her first year as the skipper of the softball club for PNW. A 6-12 record overall. Schroyer ahead in the count, looking for something to drive on a 2-0 pitch. And takes one right at the knees for strike one. I mentioned Martinez and Stevens. Anybody should reach, it'll be Maddie Schultz with Weaver, Bravo, Kara Alosio, Allison Arnold, and Sabrina Stanley rounding out this Pride lineup here on a 2-1. Off-speed pitch and a great take from Schroyer to stay ahead in the count.
Yeah, that ball sort of dipped right there at the end, so good on Schroyer to not take the bait and swing at it. It was a good pitch, but it was also kind of a good one to try and get her to swing and miss that. So credit both parties on that one.
Chance to look for something again here. And again, behind the count, Hannah Beatis is able to dot the knees to get herself back in it. 3-2, payoff pitch coming to Aubrey Schroyer. Can't be as picky now. Gets the sign, the payoff. Take in for strike 3. So Schroyer doesn't take the bat off her shoulder in this first at-bat. Looked like she might draw a walk a couple of times, but Beatis comes back for the strikeout. It's Montana Martinez, 321, her average on the season. Catcher hitting in the number 2 spot. One home run. 3 RBIs.
Yeah, the wind blowing from right to left today. It's kind of blowing in from the right side. Might see some action out towards the left side of the field today.
Last time we were here, we saw that wind blowing out hard the same kind of direction across the field. We saw a couple of home runs to that corner. Martinez was one of them as she's jammed here. Finally get back to the screen. 1 ball, 1 strike. The 1-1 pitch on the corner, 1-2.
Really important for Martinez to try and see if she can find a way to at least foul a couple more off if she doesn't get on here and try and run that count up. The last thing you want is to give Beatis any kind of confidence after that first inning of play. You don't want to give her any kind of confidence at all, but certainly not early on here as she tries to set the tone in the early innings of this game.
Count even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Fought off by Martinez to stay at the plate. It's a couple of times she's been jammed on foul balls to the screen. Neither struck particularly well, but especially on that 2-strike one we just saw, good for Martinez just to stay at the plate and try to find a mistake. Again, the 2-2. Breaking ball outside. There's a beauty from Beatrice right there, and I don't know if Martinez took that as much as she maybe got frozen and fortunate. 3 balls, 2 strikes with the infield and outfield straight away, and Martinez able to draw a base on ball. Is a rare walk for Beatrice, but one the Pride will definitely take.
Absolutely. Like I said, you want to put all the pressure you can on Beatrice at this point early in the game. She's probably not used to, long innings, not used to teams working her deep into counts, so it's very important for PNW to try and at least, if nothing else, get that done here in this top half of the first inning.
Here is one of the biggest threats for the Pride, Taylor Stevens. She's a changeup in the dirt for ball 1. Stevens was recently named, I believe it was for last week, the GLIAC Player of the Week for softball, one of 2 that is named by the conference. She's had a big season, and that continues here with a base hit to right. Martinez had to hold to make sure that would get through Rieger. And that not only allows her to have no chance to go first to third, but it made the play at second relatively close. But a base hit for Stevens, and it's up to Maddie Schultz now. Schultz takes it inside for ball 1. You can really, I think, see the mentality and approach at the plate for the Pride is to make Beatrice work out over the plate if they can. Martinez had to fight off a couple of tough ones in on her hands. Schultz, the same thing right there. But obviously the mentality for the Laker pitcher is to not give an inch at all, as she got beat on a pitch out over by Stevens to right. Ultimately lost Martinez on that walk. But otherwise, she's had pretty good success at getting into what a lot of people call the kitchen of the hitter. And on the handle, another one there, up and in. Blown right by Schultz, and it's 1-2.
And I think you're right, Sam. I think she's starting to figure out that that's going to be one of her spots today that she's going to need is that up and in pitch to both left and right-handed batters, obviously. It's just so difficult to catch up with that one.
This one just inside. A tough one for Schultz to take. 2 balls and 2 strikes now. On deck is Jessica Weaver, first baseman for PNW. Strike 3 on another high and tight fastball as Beatrice went back to the well and strikes out Schultz, her second punch out of the inning.
And that's a tough one, like I said, to catch up to. At that point, you kind of got to shorten things up and just try and put the bat on the ball. You got to shorten the swing and not necessarily go for the long hit. Just put it in play any way you can.
Now it's up to Weaver. Goes right back to that same spot, and Weaver able to lay off for ball 1. Jessica Weaver this year hitting .242, 2 doubles, has not gone deep yet. As she rolls one into the Pride dugout, 3 RBIs for the Pride first baseman. Also has done some pitching this year for Tristan Wilcox and her team. There's a strikeout to start the game called on Schroyer. Good off-speed delivery here, catches the corner. Schroyer struck out. Martinez drew a definitely well-earned walk on a 3-2 pitch. Stevens rifled a single to right. Schultz struck out swinging, and now Weaver down in the count. And now even. 2 balls and 2 strikes, trying to come up with the big 2-out hit.
Yeah, it looks like Beatrice wanted to try and freeze her with another off-speeder right there, but that one might have just been over-gripped and kind of got away from her.
The 2-2 pitch. And she's run it full. This will give the base runners a chance for a head start here, and you'd like your chances to score a run if Weaver's able to come up with the hit, as Martinez and Stevens will go on the payoff. Checked it, took it, ball 4, and the bases are loaded.
And good on her. Good on Weaver there to lay off the inside one. That one, as we said, is going to be Beatis's bread and butter today. And so far it's worked a couple times, but no dice on that one. So it's up to Ashley Bravo now.
Bravo playing at third base. Has played a little bit of first as well this year, hitting .234. Swings and misses at a high hard one. We've seen that kind of rise ball from Beatis here a lot. And the only real chance you have is to lay off it. If you go hunting for it, unless you just happen to get enough of it, and today the wind might help you out and push it out. But normal days, you got two options, swing and miss or pop it up. And goes right back to the off speed. And that is something we've seen a lot on the baseball side as well, and you pitch tunneling. You pitch off the previous pitch. You go with the high fastball. You drop the changeup, and the hitter has a really tough time seeing which is which.
Yeah, when you have those kinds of weapons in your arsenal, it makes it so difficult to try and guess what the pitcher's going to throw or to pick it up out of the hand. So it's going to make that kind of tough today.
1 ball, 2 strikes here on Bravo. Takes it, and that's a little bit higher than the one she swung at to start the at-bat. Maybe made it a bit easier to lay off. But that's the one, if you're PNW, you can't swing it. It looks like it might, out of the hand of Beatis, be around the letters. But it rises way above that. This one fought off at the plate, and the catcher, Wagner, unable to come up with it. Third baseman Kenningsoff also gave it a look, but too far to come all the way from even with the bag.
Yeah, that was, like you said, you were very lucky to make contact with that high and inside one, Sam. If you're going to go after that one, that's when you need to shorten up the swing and maybe even choke up on the bat to get a little bit more of the meat of the bat on the ball. Otherwise, you're probably not going to make contact.
Went with the off speed. This is lined into right center, and a 2-run single for Bravo. And maybe Beatis doing her a favor going back to the off speed pitch. Simple approach produces 2 runs.
Yeah, nothing too fancy right there. Just put the head of the bat on the ball and poke it the other way, and just like that, you got number 15, Grand Valley State, already in the 2-0 hole.
Weaver stopping at second. And a big-time base hit for Ashley Bravo. Here's Kara Alosio, who takes a strike. Alosio this year hitting .211 in limited time. Has kind of split duties with Josie Galtz. Quickly down in the count here. 0-2. Alosio only 19 at-bats this year. Has played and started in 11 of the Pride's 18 games. There's a lot of Pride players who have not played enough games to even qualify for statistical category leaders as far as at-bats are concerned.
And a lot of that has been due to the fact that, as in the previous 2 times we've been out here, Sam, has there been a couple rainouts.
That too. This one fought off and spinning foul. Pride have done a good job of fouling those pitches off and kind of being lucky at the same time. Remember, right before the base hit, Andrew, Bravo fouled the one off, and Wagner didn't quite see it at first, the catcher, and then by the time she realized it, unable to get to it. That could have ended the inning.
Well, that pitch and the one we just saw had some nasty spin on those balls. So, however PNW is making contact today, whether it's in fair or foul territory, it's still good contact to, as we saw, keep Grand Valley State from making that play.
Do not want to run it full if you're Beatis, but she has done so. And a pitcher we referenced rarely struggling with control, had not walked many coming into this appearance, had only allowed 14 base on balls, has walked 1 and gone full here again, but able to get out of the inning with a familiar delivery on the rise ball there. So Hannah Beatis strikes out the side, but in between that, a walk, a base hit, another base on balls, and an RBI single by Bravo, producing 2 PNW runs through 1. The Pride up 2-0.